What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Reg in the building. Welcome you with another episode of my pop review. And the album I am going to review today is, if y'all can see it, no, hold on. Frank Sinatra's "Come Fly With Me" album. This was released in 1958 on Capitol Records. Before I start, I want to give a shout out to my boy Jermaine for requesting me to do this album. Sorry it took me so long to get this done, but I had a lot of stuff to handle, but better now than never. Frank Sinatra, you guys should know who Frank Sinatra is. He's a popular entertainer, singer, actor, member of the Rat Pack and stuff like that. One of the first teen idols. Well, he really was like the first major teen idol and stuff like that. His history, he had like a lot of history and stuff, so I am going to start the story off, during like the mid 50s when he pretty much had like a career revival and stuff like this. He had a career revival and he had signed to Capitol Records. And Capitol Records, that was, at that time one of the biggest labels at that time. And so, fast forward to, 1958, he had wanted to do an album where he wanted to have the listener experience like traveling, pretty much, if that makes sense. And so he pretty much told like the producer, like he pretty much told the writers, Sammy Kahn and Jimmy Van Housen, to write him the "Come Fly With Me" song, which I'm gonna talk about that song in a minute. That's been like one of Frank Sinatra's signature songs, and this was actually the first album that he worked with Billy May, who was like a arranger and a conductor and stuff like that. He worked with plenty of other artists like Ella Fitzgerald. He worked with Nat King Cole and so on and so on. So this was like the first album, and he would work with Frank Sinatra on and off until like the mid '80s, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, so all in all, this album pretty much consists of songs that are based on traveling to different places of the world. The album cover, I have to keep it a buck. The album cover, I don't like the album cover. It looks, and I think I've read somewhere that Frank Sinatra did not even like the album cover himself too. It just looks like cheesy. It looks like something you would see on a postcard, pretty much, and stuff like that. It didn't capture Frank at his best lighting, but yeah, it is what it is with that. So yeah, producer, producer is name is Royal Gilmore, who also worked with Frank Sinatra a lot, and he was the producer of like the original tapes that was used on the Beatles Hollywood Bowl concert and stuff like that. So yeah. Alright, 12 songs. Let's get the shit started. Track number one, "Come Fly With Me." That's like the first song, classic song. Everyone knows that song right there, and pretty much sets the whole tone of the album. And that's another thing about Frank Sinatra and stuff like that, because he was pretty much one of the earliest influencers when it comes to making like concept albums. Like with certain albums, like the Wee Small Hours, which I need that album in my collection. I need that album in my collection and stuff like that. So yeah, that's one thing about Frank Sinatra that people took notice upon. Also, with this track right here, it's just very playful track. Like I said, sets the whole tone of the album. Love this track. Track number two, "Around the World." Around the World. This was pretty much, according to my research, this was like the theme tune for like the 1956 movie Around the World in 8 Days and stuff like that. I've seen that movie I think once when I was little, like very little and stuff like that. So yeah, very very dope track. I love whenever like Frank Sinatra uses strings in his music, cause I feel like it definitely brings like the best in his voice and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Very 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 dope. So I love like the instrumentation of it all. Yeah, very good. Hold on one second. Alright, track number three. Track number three we got is Isle of Capri. This was another interesting song right here. This track, was very popular track that was originated in the 30s. Um, Very cool track right here. Yeah. Track number four, Moonlight in Vermont. One of my all-time favorite songs off this album. A lot of people have went on to say like this is pretty much like the signature song. Like whenever people think about Vermont, pretty much and stuff. Yeah, I feel like it was a pretty dope track. Again, like when it comes to like Frank Sinatra, just the way those strings, like whenever like he sings and the strings are backing him up, it definitely adds like a lot of sophistication to it all and whatnot. So yeah, very, 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 very dope track right here. That's Moonlight in Vermont. And one thing about this song too that a lot of people really noticed was the fact that none of the lyrics rhyme with one another and stuff. So that's just another thing people kind of picked up on when it came to Moonlight in Vermont. Alright, after Moonlight in Vermont, we have Autumn in New York. Yeah, another cool song and stuff like that. Pretty jazzy, warm feeling and stuff. Definitely has that fall feeling of what like whenever you listen to the track. Track number six, On the Road to Mandalay. Very very cool track. It definitely it's like another one of those playful tracks and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, very cool track. Track number seven, Let's Get Away from It All. Yeah, another very jazzy track. This whenever I hear this track, it definitely reminds me of you watching one of those cheesy love movies and stuff like that, and it Titanic, yeah, definitely reminds me of Titanic and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Where Rose's character was supposed to be marrying like that rich, prissy looking dude and stuff like that, and when it came to Leonardo Jack, who was like Leonardo DiCaprio's character, basically was like the guy just around the corner. You know what I'm saying? He's not rich, but at the same time, he has a heart of gold and stuff like that. And the girl Rose pretty much drawn into his character. So it just definitely has that young in love. Let's take our time with it kind of feeling shit like that. Definitely love this track. Next track we got is April in Paris. Um, I've heard plenty of versions of this track, and I have to say that I want to say that Frank Sinatra has probably like the best version, if you ask me. Yeah, and it actually was one of Frank Sinatra's favorite tracks too, that he's ever recorded. And yeah, you can definitely tell just the vocal performance of it all. Like Frank Sinatra, like definitely one of the very dope singer. Next track, London by Night. Didn't really care for this track to keep it real. I mean, it was still a good track, but yeah, I didn't really care for it. Track number 10, Brazil. My favorite track off this album. It's definitely very like distinct when you hear Frank Sinatra, like when those horns come in at the beginning. Definitely takes you for a ride and stuff. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite tracks off the album. Track number 11, Blue Hawaii. Again, Blue Hawaii, definitely a samba track, right? Not like a samba track, but a little down compared to like certain songs off this album. Yeah, very cool track. Definitely has that calm Hawaiian feeling. And the last track of this album is Nice to Go Traveling, which Nice to Go Traveling pretty much wraps up the whole album. Very nicely, as I should say. Just conveying with the theme of traveling around the world and stuff. So yeah, very dope track. the songs off this album. Overall, this is actually a very, very cool album. I know it's not like something a lot of my usual listeners or watchers would expect me to review, but coming from like a hip hop head for myself, this is definitely a very cool album, very jazzy, very playful, you know what I'm saying? Frank Sinatra definitely did his thing with this one. And yeah, I definitely gotta check out a lot of his work with him and Billy May because a lot of people say that he's done his best work with Billy May. And like I said before, not Sinatra. Sinatra was definitely an early influence when it came to like the concepts album and stuff like that. So I pretty much like how like all the songs definitely had like a different feel, like with each song definitely has like a different feel to it, very distinct feel. Like Brazil definitely has like a Latin Brazilian feel to it, whereas Moonlight in Vermont definitely had like that kind of like New Englandish kind of ordeal with it. You guys know what I'm getting at. So yeah, I definitely would recommend this album if you're a Frank Sinatra fan, or if you just like to relax around the house. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is definitely the album for you. Um, yeah, this album is definitely. I want to say this album is still in print too. So it's Frank Sinatra, so a majority of his albums are still in print. So yeah, thank y'all so much for watching again. Shout out to my boy Jermaine and stuff like that. Thank you. Hope y'all have a good night. Peace.